Hey there, St. Paul's. By now, I hope you've heard a lot about our Building for the Future campaign and our plans to renovate our sanctuary and build up our school endowment fund. Now, in order to make that happen, we really need the commitment of every member of St. Paul's. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be asking all of you to really prayerfully consider what God might be leading you and enabling you to give to the campaign. This is all leading up to our commitment weekend on November 16th and 17th. At all of the services that weekend, we're going to be receiving commitment cards during the worship services. We're asking you to consider making a 3-year giving commitment to the campaign over and above your regular offerings. Now, as you think and pray about that over the next few weeks, I'd like to offer this one suggestion, and that's to leave room for God. Because He has a way of surprising us sometimes and doing far more than we could ever ask or imagine. And I got to tell you, I'm relearning that lesson myself. Several months ago, when the Building for the Future campaign was just first being conceived, I have to confess, I didn't think my family would be able to contribute very much at all. Our oldest son was just starting college, and our monthly expenditures were going up significantly. My wife was starting a new full-time job just so we could cover all the things we were currently paying for. It wasn't that I wasn't supportive of what we're doing, there just didn't seem to be any extra money to give. And I really felt guilty about that, I really did. I thought to myself many times, I'm all for this. I think St. Paul's desperately needs this. I totally believe in this. I'll give my best leadership to this effort. But unfortunately, I just won't be able to actually give much myself. And then something incredible happened. We've been making car payments on one of our cars for several years. And I honestly had no idea how close we were to paying it off. I usually try not to think about it because it can be discouraging to look in that little book and see all those payment vouchers left to be paid. But then one day last spring, as I was paying off our bills for no particular reason, I just happened to take a more careful look at it and realized for the first time that we were just a few payments away from paying the whole thing off. And when was the final payment due? October of 2019, the month before commitment weekend. And in that moment, I suddenly realized if we simply start making our car payment to the campaign once it's paid off, we will be able to give much more than I ever could have imagined. And we could do it without even changing our monthly budget. Now, I share that story with you today because God might be doing something like that in your life too. I talked to one of our members the other day, and he told me that he recently inherited some money from a relative who passed away. And he said to me, Pastor, I realized we don't need all that. We're doing fine. God has blessed us. We could give a portion of that gift to the campaign. I talked to another retired member here who told me that he's required by law to make a mandatory distribution from his IRA every year. I guess it's called an RMD, a required minimum distribution. But then he remembered that there's a huge tax advantage if he directs that distribution directly to a charity like St. Paul's. He'd pay no income taxes on the amount that he transfers directly. And so it meant he would be able to give a lot more than he originally thought he might be able to. Now, maybe none of these things are relevant to your life and your situation. But maybe God is opening up a different opportunity for you that you haven't even thought of yet. And so my pastoral challenge to you is to not make this decision too quickly. Take these next few weeks to really think about it. Talk with your family about it. Most of all, really pray about it and ask God to show you how you might be able to contribute to this campaign. He might just surprise you. Because after all, He says in the Bible, He's the God who can do far more than we could ever ask or imagine.